Ollie. Tell the men to stay strong and the women not to worry.
Hi, my name is, Aldarn. Would you like to, do a 360 fake Ollie with me sometime?
What?
The show definitely has an early 2000s vibe. Today we're going to compare Arc 1 in the books versus the TV show. The comics and the show both have their good aspects of them and their bad aspects of them. I wouldn't say that one is better than the other, but as I've said in my previous video, they're like two different experiences. So you have to be wary of that when you go into it. One thing that the show did was add more to the concept of the rebellion. We actually get to see numerous plans they have to get supplies out of the castle. That's actually how Caleb is introduced. Caleb actually has a lot more action. He's more involved. He actually spends time on Earth with the girls.
I'm not supposed to be blending in here. I'm supposed to be battling Phobos and Meridian. And finding the rightful heir to the throne, who is somewhere in your ridiculously dressed world.
It is fun to see Caleb in the kind of course, usual fish out of water aspect as he tries to adapt to life on Earth. You get some pretty good laughs out of that. I especially like the scene where he's being a waiter at the Silver Dragon. We'll show you just a segment of it. I didn't record all of it because I want you to see some of it for yourself and get a good laugh.
Oh, I don't know. What do you recommend?
That you hurry up. I've got other customers.
Waiter, my wife asked for water with no ice?
Then tell her to wait until it melts. You people wouldn't last a day in Meridian.
What's Meridian?
I think it's one of those fancy places downtown.
In the book, we don't get to see much of the rebellion. In the TV series, we get to see that Caleb has a best friend named Aldarn. Caleb also has a father that we get to see. You see more of his family in season 2. It's interesting to think that maybe Cornelia and Caleb's relationship was so strong because he was technically a plant-like creature and Cornelia is the guardian of Earth. So maybe it was just a natural attraction. In terms of the relationship that is between Cornelia and Caleb, in the books, it's a little weird because it seems like they had dreamed about each other for a whole year before they actually met. Caleb refers to some kind of prophecy that they were supposed to meet, and their relationship just seems to be stemmed off of unearned passion. In the TV show, they actually have time to fight together and experience this journey together, and they progressively fall in love. It actually takes quite a bit of time before they actually start a real relationship. Cornelia instantly in the show shows that she likes him, calling him cute and everything, but they don't really hit it off until later. I actually like Caleb in the TV series more, despite his annoying times where he makes a big deal about girls saving the day. We do get to see more of him in the show, more personality.
They're not even roasting an ox.
And he actually has a different story. He's an actual human with a family, and in the books he was formerly a murmurer for Phobos, which is someone in his court that gathers secrets for him.
What? But wait till you see him in his goth outfit.
Then that brings us to Vathic. In the show, he is somebody that seems to already be on the side of the rebellion. He was Cedric's right-hand man in the book, but in the TV series, it seems like he's already a traitor, and he's kind of obvious about it.
That's right, Guardian of the Veil. You're going down there with the rebel leader.
You sure don't look like a good guy.
Thank you.
There is a funny scene where his cover has been blown as a double agent, and Will comes up with an interesting plan where she tells Vathic to pretend that he was also attacked by the Guardians. And it's kind of like this.
I have an idea. Lie down and don't move.
What's happening?
We all got chloroformed.
Somebody chloroformed all of us.
And now we're regaining consciousness together.
One more point about Vathic is that he has powers in the book and doesn't have them in the show. Then I want to talk about Yin Lin. In the book, she serves as a guiding force for the Guardians. She actually dies early on because her mission is over. She served her life purpose and passed on the Heart of Kandrakar to the new Guardians, and can finally take her place on the Council of Kandrakar. We actually get to see more of Kandrakar in the book as a viewer. We actually get to see them constantly judging the girls and thinking that they're not right for this responsibility. And Yan Lin kind of serves as a voice in their defense. In the TV show, she just seems to serve as a humor character. She doesn't really have much weight to her. She does do the usual things of handing over the 12 portals map and the Heart of Kandrakar, but seems to just be there for laughs and comes off more senile. She also doesn't die and is just there. I mean, it is cool to have an adult presence for the girls to turn to, but it doesn't have the same power.
Caleb, you are one major chunk.
It's hunk, Grandma.
Hey, shall we get down, rebel boy?
Is it 'cause my powers are finally mature enough that I'm worthy?
Nah, it was in the attic. I couldn't find it. Found my old tennis racket, too. Oh! Ow!
Then there's just some general lore that gets changed from the book to the TV show. We actually get to see a ritual of the rebels on who gets to be a leader. At one point, Aldarn, who's hypnotized, challenges Caleb for his leadership, and they actually have a whole obstacle course they need to run, which is very interesting, and then have fight in the underground city. In the show, the rebellion seemed to be humanoid, even though in the books, everyone in Meridian seems to be lizard-like, except for Phobos' family line, and Caleb, who of course was a murmurer who was made from Phobos. I will say the origins of the Vale, Meridian, Metamor are kind of vague in both the book and the TV show. The more that you look at it, it's kind of confusing on how time passes, how long it's actually been. Has Phobos always been the threat, or has there been other threats? As it seems like that part of or that planet was kind of cut off, even though Elion's mother appears to be a nice person, they were all cut off. So it's kind of confusing. Where in the TV show it seems more of an ancient tale, and with Phobos as if it was made for him. Yet Yan Lin was also a guardian, so how old is Phobos, and how long will Elion actually live? As an artist, one of my favorite side plots to the main plot was when they got trapped in the painting. In the TV show, they make it a lot cooler because they actually paint weapons to fight back and actually paint a river to escape from the bad guys. One thing that they really left out of the plot of the TV show was the black roses. In the book, it serves as this big haunting thing that there's a whole garden full of people that were turned into black roses. The gardener himself was threatened and his family were turned into the first black roses of that garden. Whereas in the TV show, it's just mentioned in passing. There's also an addition of saving miners from an underwater mine that starts collapsing as they save Caleb's father. There is a prison break in both the book and the show. It's just that Elian doesn't have as much involvement in the show as she does in the book. When it comes to the map of the 12 portals, the story in the TV show is that it was stolen from a map that Phobos had that showed part of Heatherfield, or Earth, as you would say. And in the comic, it just seems to serve as just a random plot MacGuffin, as they go to Kandrakar and suddenly it's just not important anymore, which was kind of weird. In the TV show, it serves more purpose as they actually actively use it to find portals. In the book, they discover the Seal of Phobos after a little scuffle in Elion's basement, and Tarani can actually hear it speaking to her, telling them to beware of Phobos, who they haven't really met yet or know anything about. And in both instances, the heart absorbs it and gives it the ability to open portals. In the TV show, they just speak of it as being stolen to escape Meridian as Miss Rudolph escapes with Elion and is just lost and later found by Blunk. There is a character named Blunk that was added for the TV show, and I very much despise him because he is annoying and just used for gross out humor. So here are some lines that show how I feel about Blunk.
His name is Blunk and he's not my friend. And you can be sure that wherever he is, he's up to no good. I didn't fight this long for freedom to perish in a hole with a talking pickle.
The legend of the four dragons, which serves as the origin as the Guardian's powers. The nymph that frees the dragons in the TV show is the daughter of the Emperor, whereas in the book, It seems just like another deity. I also want to look at the design of the emperors. In the book, he seems to be inspired by the emperor from Mulan, and in the TV show is just very jesterly. At the point in the book, this serves as a play that they're doing, which the play is also shown in the TV show. However, the difference is with that one, the girls need to go on a mission in the TV show and use the astral drops to replace them. And in the book, there is a side story of Meridian refugees and actually provides some interesting depth to the girls' development. Speaking of astral drops, in the show, they are perceived as very toddler-like and taking things literally, as in pouring water on the audience. I think that they simply did that because Will's astral drop in the book had a thing where she seemed to not know anything and made a lot of mistakes, such as kissing Matt. However, that only happened because Will was doubting herself when she created her in that moment because she felt that she would be replaced. There is a plot line in the show and in the book where Cornelia goes to Meridian without the permission or without the team. In the TV show, she uses an astral drop to do this, and in the book, she does not. She just goes. The girls finding out Elion's lineage before she does is actually a source of conflict between Will and Cornelia, because Cornelia wants to really tell her best friend about what's going on because she's never really kept secrets from her, which of course helps drive Elion away even more. So I feel like Will was wrong in that aspect. And speaking of the feud between Will and Cornelia, in the books, it just seems that Cornelia is more of this calculated, logical person, and Will more goes with her heart, and Cornelia is uncomfortable with that because a lot of times they end up jumping into situations, or Will say something just off the cuff, and it really upsets Cornelia because she feels like Will is just playing with their fates and not taking things seriously by not actually considering plans.
Is it possible to still take on Phobos without her?
They do make up in the end. They don't hate each other forever. Here, Cornelia rings the bell to save Will from doing a math problem, although I feel like it's a little bit flaunting her powers. The point where Cornelia starts to change her mind is here, where Will nearly sacrifices herself to save her enemy, and gives an inspirational speech in one of the most beautiful panels of this arc. Cornelia actually states that she understands why Will was chosen as the leader. In terms of their powers, we'll discuss them more in Season 2 as that has more. You just need to know that they just have their basic elements and no secondary abilities in the TV show. In the TV show, Will serves more as a melee character and actually uses weapons. Because she doesn't seem to have any other traits or abilities. The girls can also seem to transform themselves in the book. It's a little inconsistent at times with this. Now, the show does lead up to discovering who they are. It was really cool having times where the girls weren't sure if they should talk to the others about their experiences that have been happening to them. They're just suddenly extremely competent at their powers and just seem to be able to know exactly what they're doing, especially here when Irma puts out this flame. The skill level of the girls is on and off. One episode prior, Tarani nearly drops a fireball on Will, and the next she's drying some wood without any difficulty. The girls are more serious about not abusing their powers in the comics, where in the TV show, they're just abusing them left and right. Though there is an instance in the comic where the girls use their powers to beat up Uriah's gang to save Martin. The Heart of Kandrakar. It has varying abilities, it seems, in the TV show. It's able to multiply itself. It's used as a viewer. It kind of acts like a dog at one point to find Will, a tracker, and can show where the other girls are, among other random qualities that were not present in the book. Unlike the books, we actually get to see a lot more of Meridian tracking slugs, got Mogriffs, a mage, these creatures, a guard under Refuge of the Guardians, this Zelda boss from Ocarina of Time, a sentient sand pit that pulls people in and mummifies them. Frost the Hunter plays a small role. Then we have Ghost Rider, the tracker. The Horn of Hypno makes most of Heatherfield brain dead for an episode. The Star of Threeb, which actually helps Phobos and Cedric confirm who Elion is. In the show, the Murmurs are portrayed as these little pixie-like people in the flowers. In the comics, they seem to be almost identical to Phobos. And the show really instituted a Monster of the Week formula, as was popular at the time with most children's action shows. Now, back in Heatherfield, we unfortunately don't see as much home life, but we do see some interesting add-ons like Career Day, a roller derby, Uriah, who's more of a dunce, not the psychopath that almost blew up his school, or beat up a dormouse. Mr. Huggles in the book rescued from Uriah by Will and Matt, and Will was just taking him because there was no room at the pet shop and he needed to be saved. Whereas in the show, we get this awkward random exchange.
I got you something. I hope you don't mind. It sort of reminded me of you.
Wait, are you saying I'm cute or that I have a facial hair issue?
I have something else for you, too. Close your eyes, okay?
Rodent chow.
In terms of relationships, the TV show presents them in a very cheesy way, and Will's mom is a little more open about dating Mr. Collins, whereas in the book it serves as a source of contention for them because she kept it secret. But she is hiding nothing here.
Good evening, Susan.
Dean. Hi.
Susan, Dean.
Your mom joined the PTA, but she missed the last 2 meetings.
So I asked Dean to bring over the material.
Go Will's mom!
Matt actually has more involvement in the TV show. He actually discovers accidentally that the girls have powers. He stumbles into Meridian and actually hangs around a lot more, which actually is pretty cool and gets more interesting in season 2. Here is your platter of cheese.
Hi.
Hi.
So, how's Mr. Huggles?
Well, he's kind of, I have no idea how he is. I gave him away.
Oh.
Not because I didn't think he was the cutest thing ever, but my mom wouldn't let me keep him, so Irma watched him, and then she got super attached, so I couldn't take him back, but I couldn't tell you, because, well...
Because you like me? Huh. Wow, I can't believe I just said that.
And I can't believe I'm going to do this.
The show completely ignores the relationship of Nigel and Tarani, a member of Uriah's gang, and there's actually a plot where he is framed for stealing a watch because Uriah just doesn't know how to let go. By the way, in the books, every time they enter Meridian, it's always some kind of fever dream or Alice in Wonderland type experience.
The recording of these words, may her fate be sealed. In 5 days, her powers will reach their peak, and I will drain them all and leave her withered soul to spend eternity as a black rose.
So, in the end, what you need to know is that Arc 1 is about a power struggle between a brother and long-lost sister for the throne of Meridian. I've done a separate video on Elion, her brother Phobos, and his right-hand man Cedric. If you'd like to go check that out, it'll be linked at the end of this video. It's about a beautiful snake man being manipulated by the beautiful prince to manipulate his kind sister, which conveniently she was friends with the Guardians, and manipulate her to destroy them. Also that Phobos could put on the crown of light to his sister, steal her powers, and become the ruler of Meridian, even though Elion is the rightful birthright. Thankfully, though, she starts to doubt them, and is convinced by the girls that her brother is evil, enabling her to pull a switcheroo with a clone before the crowning ceremony. In the end, it's sibling versus sibling, while the Guardians fight Jumbo Shrimp Cedric, and the light of Meridian is restored. However, in the TV show, this Elion wouldn't know evil if it hit her in the face, and ends up needing to be rescued by the end because she still hasn't realized anything. We get a cool battle, some clever plans where they set up portals in a creative way to overthrow Phobos. Cedric actually becomes Shrimp Cedric, Mini Shrimp Cedric. He starts to take away the heart and they flash between human and guardian form. And Matt is just a lovable oaf. The finale comes together with a giant Care Bear stare. We battle a dragon, shoot some laser beams, and the battle is won. Okay, so here we have the 2017 re-releases of the Witch comic books. We have 1, 2, and 3, and that covers all of Arc 1. Forgive all of my sticky notes, as I had to take a lot of notes for this video. This is the front cover. It's very similar to the graphic novel release that first came to America. They actually use the same image. The first one is presented like a classical comic with a little hint of what you can find inside at the bottom. So originally, each of these graphic novels covered 2 comics that you would have gotten in a magazine, and were often split by what would have been similar to a cover. So the original graphic novel release that came to America was on these glossy, almost thick magazine type paper. It ends abruptly with the comic. I always loved looking at these opening shots. The 2017 re-release of the comics cover 4 comic chapters. Table of contents. Here, the comic is presented just a small percentage larger and is featured on these matte non-glossy pages that you see with a lot of graphic novels today. And they still kept with dividing the comics with the beautiful imagery that Witch is known for. And what's interesting about the re-releases is that they always have a little treat at the end. Here we have featured a little blurb on Will and Irma, and a page giving shout-outs to everyone involved, and with all copyright information and artists involved. The back of the comics are fairly similar in the sense that they feature the same imagery of the Guardians, just in a different layout. Graphic novel 2 features Halen, and in the background, Guardian Halen, Will, and Cornelia. Here's the table of contents page. And this one features a blurb on Tarani, Cornelia, and Halen. The third graphic novel, as the conclusion of the arc, features a photo of Elion with her crown on, which is a little bit of a spoiler if you haven't already known the whole story and her being crowned. Here is the table of contents. What's different here is that it features a little hint, a little encouragement to read on in Volume 4, which begins Arc 2, and features a blurb on Elion, Phobos, Cedric, and Caleb. We won't really cover these unless you want to, but these are the chapter books that came out originally. Each chapter book covered the same amount as a graphic novel, so it featured 2 comics worth of story. It is primarily a chapter book, with the beginning and end of the book as full-color comics. In America, I know for sure you can find these at Barnes & Noble and on Amazon for around $15. And those are my final thoughts on Arc 1 of Witch. I left some plot points out to leave you some surprises. So before we round out the video, I'm just going to put at the end here scenes and mentions that I could not fit into the topics of the video.
I figure Will out. Yesterday she grabs me and kisses me, and today she's like, get off my sidewalk.
Aldarn and my father were among those taken.
Oh no! Look, it's Will! As a kind of fairy or something. You're so talented. Water!
Crowbar.
You don't know how wonderful you are.
I do hope that a season 3 can exist in today's world with Disney Plus. We just have to hope for it. Alright, so I'll see you when we talk about Arc 2.
Witch.